Hello everyone and welcome back to the day 3 for our QTP UFT training. We are in the first project right now and let's continue to develop our data-driven framework. So what I'm going to do is quickly go back to our Google Drive where we have started to put some documentation around our high-level plan, right? So if you remember team, a quick recap of what we did in the day 2 was basically one, we did a record and run test. So I'm going to quickly open that, recent test, and do you see the sample TC record run? This is what we had done initially. This is not saved, so make sure that this is saved, the old one. Giving it a few seconds to open up. And what we did as part of record and run is we said QTP, get into a learning mode through the record button and understand what I am doing and keep a note of all of them. And what are the two things that QTP did when it did a record? What it did is it wrote the code of what to do, where to do, right? The description of browser, page, web edit is basically the where portion. And then the keywords like set, click is what. Have we mastered that yet? No. However, as we continue to go forward, you will master this by the end of this project. The other important thing that QTP does is it also stores the address or the identification properties of each object. Everything that we click on in the web page is considered as an object of different types or class. For example, this is a web edit. And for example, this one is a link and so on. And there is a specific section here, if you note, and that section is how we use to identify that specific object. Okay, rather how QTP identifies. Have we got to this level yet? No, but we will master this very soon. This is one of the most important aspects where we become masters at identifying objects in the application. So this was the approach 1, which was very basic. Now, what is the approach 2 that we took? We said as part of a good way of developing a data-driven framework, which you will understand as we eventually get towards the end of it, is to first identify what the test case is, identify the test data, prepare some sample test data. This was an optional step. So we just did this as an optional, but we have identified the objects in the application and the test and added the objects to the object repository. So instead of QTP adding it, we did it our own way. So let's go to that new test. So file, recent, and custom UFT test. So if you notice team, as we go through each and every day, we will increment our skill and you'll start seeing what we will use from each of the menu bar, how we will go about identifying different activities and so on. All right. Now, in this, we will go directly to action 1. The representation that you see here is a layout of, let me erase this drawing, a layout of multiple actions. When we work with multiple actions, it's going to show you how it's represented out here. At this moment, team, I'm assuming you all can hear me fine and the screen is good, the flow is fine. And sorry team for the late start. Unfortunately something came up and my apologies. No excuses for it. My apologies on that. All right, let's get going then. So what we should focus, why should I keep telling what you should focus, what we should focus, is very simple team. I know that the automation world is 90% absolute record and run, which is not great value of anything. Okay. There's only 10% of the population. So let's assume there are 1 million QA professionals worldwide. Let us assume that out of this million may be a little long. Let's say there are about 100,000 people who are automation professionals. Out of that, only 10,000 have good skill, real skill of automation. And that real skill is what I'm saying. Not record and run, not this section, but this section of VB script, identifying objects, mastering descriptive programming, and getting into automation frameworks. That is what I want you to master. By end of this course, I'm sure you will be in that 10%. And trust me on this, you will get there. So how does our action look? Nothing in here. We just added a few comments at each line to tell us what is it that we're going to be doing, nothing else. Okay. Now, you have done something else. What is that? Do a Control R as a shortcut. Why is it not coming? Okay, there you go. Control R, and it will open up the object repository. And we have physically added each object. How did we add an object? What feature did we use? We used this plus sign which said add objects to local. What is local? This is the local repository which is there when you do Control R. Is there a different type of repository? Yes, it is called shared object repository. We will come to it at a later point in time. Right now, local. And what are the two things that we did, team, when we added the objects to the local? One is we clicked and we said add the object. Second, we did something very important. QTP, or Unified Functional Testing Tool, automatically gives a name to the objects when we add it, and that is called a logical name. Whatever it sees as a specific property, it takes that and puts it. What have we done? We have renamed it. Why did we do it? So that our code will be much more easier to look at. Now let us write the code. How do we write this code? Very simple, team. You look at the object in the repository here, and we'll start writing the code in here. All right. Where is the action? Properties not needed. Action. There you go. So the first thing, what is it that we will do, team? The first thing is we will enter a specific value. What is that? Retirement age. All of you remember the application? I hope there's nothing to complicate there. 401kcalculator.org, right? So the first thing is let's enter annual salary, and let's enter the 401k, current age, retirement age, and click on calculate. These are the few steps that we will do. So let's write them down. Or do we already have a test case which has these details? Absolutely yes. So our test case already has those details. So we are doing this specific test case. I'm going to copy these steps. In fact, all the steps, Control C. Why are we copying? Because this is what we want to do. There is no confusion anymore. Why is there no confusion? Because we are very clear through our plan, and that is the reason we create a very high level plan and then we go in depth through it. So now we have wrote exactly what the steps are, and to do this we have to comment them. Once we do a Control M, which is a shortcut for commenting each line, that is Control M, they'll get commented. So first thing is user visits 401kcalculator.org. There are two ways that you can use team to visit that page. One way is if you go to your record and run option and record menu and look at record and run settings. In here you can say open the following address when a record or run session begins, and then automatically the website will open. So let's keep it like this for this run and then come back to it to change it at a code level. Alright, so I'll write here done using the record and run settings. This is what we're doing here. Very good. What is the next step? Enter annual salary. So there are two very important aspects to it, team. Always remember, what are those? Where you need to perform dot what you need to do. How do you identify where it is? All you need to do is identify where is this object in the repository. So where is the object in the repository? Retirement age is here. And how will QTP then identify the object in the application? I will tell you. But first, let's talk about putting this here. So the way we put it is, where is retirement age? It is inside the first top element or parent is home. Where is home? Inside this object called IE. So the first thing we will write is the class and the name. The class and the name. It's like saying car, and then let's say you have a Ford, then we'll say car Ford. So we're saying a car and a Ford is the name that we have given to that car, or we can say car and Acura. So you are specifically going to write exactly like what you saw when we did a record. So browser, open brackets. Why did IE come automatically? The reason IE came automatically is because there was only one object of type browser. So that is why it came up automatically. So look at the syntax. What is the syntax, team? Very important to note one more. Please note that what we're doing out here, team, this whole thing is your VB scripting. Very simple, very easy programming scripting language or scripting tool that you can master with ease. All you need to do is do a little practice the way I show you, and that's about it. Okay. So what we are doing here is VB scripting. So you're going to master VB scripting, objects, object repository, descriptive programming, automation frameworks, and many more associated concepts, team. Okay. So this is where we are going to write. Now, VB scripting is a programming language. Every programming language has a syntax to it. I cannot say browser IE and then just do an open quotes and not end it. It does not recognize what you're trying to do. So if you have to give instructions, it has to be absolutely in the specific format or what we call as syntax of the programming language. All right. Next thing I'll say is dot. The dot does two things, team. Remember this. One, you said browser. Then the next thing it does is it shows you all the activities you can do with the browser. For example, you can close a browser. You can look at its child objects. You can capture a bitmap from it. You can go forward on it. You can go back in the browser. So on a browser, an object of type browser, there are specific activities you can do. Or you can refresh a browser, or you can navigate home, and so on. Okay? These properties are very important, team, for you to know. Why? Because not properties, these are methods or actions that you can perform. Very simple, team. Let's say we talk about a laptop. What can you do with a laptop? You can send emails, you can surf the web, you can write a document. There are so many activities you can do with a laptop. Can you drive a laptop? No. Can you sit on a laptop? No. Because that class of an object does not support that method. Now you understood? There's nothing more complex about objects. So whatever you see as objects, treat them from a real world perspective. It will become very easy for you to understand the object-oriented concept that we are here about. Okay? So here, the first thing I said is you can perform an activity. Now what we're interested is I want to navigate down till retirement age. So the second activity you can do after you do dot is look at a child object. So all these icons are looking in a specific fashion except these two. This is called object and this is called page. We will come to this something called as properties later. Right now we are interested in this page. So for each object type, the icons are also different. You see this? Here it's a pencil. Here it is like a chain link. Here it's like a picture. Here it is like a page. Here it is showing the icon of a lens which they're signifying for a browser. Okay. Now, as soon as I open brackets on page, what should happen? If you think logically, home should come up. Why will home come up? Because that is the only object of type home. Oh, sorry, of type page in there. Home is the only object. Now what we're saying is you can look at all the activities that you can perform on a page. This icon is basically something like motion, a brick being thrown or something. You can see the motion movement. So it is like an action that is being performed. Okay. Here I can either say again some activity that you can do depending on the type of the object or class, or I can go to the child. I have image and I have a link. Which one do we want to do? None of this. Which is ours? Our object is, if you look at, is a retirement age. Do you see this? And it is of type web edit. How do you know what are the different types on each object page and how do we go about? There is no theory in it, team. It's very simple. We'll keep practicing with different projects. As we keep doing, we will explore. We will discover new types of object and we will learn. So we saw web edit, which is an edit field. Wherever you can enter some value, it is called as a web edit. Then we have a link, which is a link, hyperlink that you can click on and go somewhere. Images. And when we go forward, we will see different things like button, text, title, and many other things like that will keep coming, different types of objects. There's not a big list for it. So we're looking at retirement age, and that is of class web edit. So dot link object, refresh object, keep going down, you'll see web edit. Do you see this? Or you can also start typing and it should automatically pick it up. So I could also do dot web, see, as soon as I said W, that's the only one, edit. And now why does it show 4? For browser it showed me one option, for page it showed me one option, but for web edit, why is it showing me 4 options as soon as I open bracket? When I hit a dot, it is talking about action or some kind of a method you want to perform on it, or its child object. When you open a bracket, we're gonna put the name of that object now, because there are 4 objects of the same type in the object repository and retirement age. The mode I'm showing you, team, to develop a script is the way you should do it when you are working in a live project. This is what you should do as mastering it. Now, what did we do so far? We have identified how to write browser ie.page.webEdit retirement age, and it took us so long to do it. Record and run will do it in a second, correct? Why are we going through all this? You will know it as we go about. Plus, when we get better at it and when I can stop explaining this simple basic fundamental concepts, it will become much more faster. So we have answered the where portion. Where do we want to do something on the retirement age? Now what do we want to do? Dot. As soon as I do a dot, it will show me child objects, if any, or it will show me all the different methods I can perform. Now, which method should I do? Is it fire event? Is it drag? Is it click? How do you know? 2 ways, team. One is you experiment, you explore, do a record and run and see what it does, and through practice you find it. Second is as you click on each method, if you see it, it is showing you the description also of it. As we keep implementing, it will become very easy for you to do. So what should we do in this case? It is not click, it is not get to your property. So we're going through. If you remember, when we went and we did a record and run, we saw that method called set. So let's see if set is the correct one. Sets the text inside the edit box. Is that correct? Yes. In fact, it could be type, it could be enter, but I can't say type, I can't say enter, because VBScript recognizes it as set. Your QTP, which is using the VBScript tool, VBScript programming language, scripting language, is treating it as set. Now what is next? You will talk about the value, where, what, and any additional info that is needed. In this case, we are saying put a value. What is the value you want to put in? You want to put 65,000. Now, so far, with all this, we've just written one line. Now, how do I enter contribution to 401k and be quicker at it? Where is 401k? It is here. Same browser, same page, different web edit. So, till here, I can copy everything. Control C, Control V, dot is 401k of type web edit. Yes, so web edit. Now open brackets, all the 4 will come. We will choose the first one and we'll say dot set, and what is the value we want to put there. What do we put here? We can put 10%, 9%, 11%, something like that, right? So let's say that we want to put 9%. We're just playing around. See, all we're doing is just playing around, taking our own options the way we want and do it. But what we're trying to focus and make sure we do it right is we're doing it in a very organized manner. No random, no haphazard, very organized. Then let's enter the current age. Same Control V, because it's still in the same page, dot web edit current age. And what is the current age? Dot set. Let us say the current age is 35. All right. Are we touching the data that we created here? No, not yet. Why? Because as per our plan, we will write the basic VB script for this test case. And before we go forward, here is where we will do some more. So 6.1 will be define variables to hold test data. All right. insert one, then I think this should be fine. Let's see. So we right now here, so we are going about doing this thing. So mostly done with this portion and this also. So I'll just make them as green, so we know that from our execution standpoint we have gone beyond those. Okay, very good. Everyone with me, team, so far? All going clear? I know it is slow, it's not very fast, but that is the intent. The reason I'm going slow is so that you all are able to capture the most important concepts, fundamentals, ground level, and then it's easy to build from here. All right, let's see. I already am getting some good comments from the team saying that I made a mistake. And what is that mistake? Team is saying that web edit retirement age is not 65,000. It is the annual salary. I've kept on pointing to retirement age. So is this correct? No. So retirement age will come here. So let me do one thing. Let me copy this whole thing. Okay. Control Shift. Where is this home button in this? Okay. Control C and put this for retirement age. Thank you for keeping your eyes open and noting these things, because if even after writing such a neat plan I make mistakes, what does it mean? We are humans, we tend to make mistakes, and that is the reason developers tend to make mistakes and they will run into issues, and that is why we have jobs. Alright, understand that logic please. Now what can I do? I can rewrite the entire line or just rename this to annual salary, the object which is here. Okay, so the same name I put here. Then 401k, current age, retirement age. Finally we will click on calculate. Oops, retirement age 65,000 is too long, right? I mean, there are two things. One, you may, even if you want to live that long, you may not want to work that long. Right? So okay, till there we have done. Any other mistakes that you see? Let's see if we can execute it first and then go about identifying. So click calculate. Okay, let's see. Dot web edit. For on annual CH. Why is calculate missing here? Calculate is supposed to be here, right? It is here in the object repository which I've kept to one side of the screen. Why is it not here? Why? Because it is not of type web edit. Then what is calculate of type? Link. So we're gonna call this as a link. Instead of page dot web edit dot link. Do we have a type link here? Yes. Now let's open the brackets. Why does calculate get filled automatically? Because that is the only link. And let's set something here. Why am I not able to do a set? Why is there no set method for this? Because on a link you can't go and type anything in the web page. So depending on the class of the object, you have the ability to do a certain thing. Alright, so you can't do a set. What is it that you want to do? Click. How do you know? Two ways. One, experiment, or three, or with by record and run and so on, or two is as you go about learning, you'll master it. So now you know it's click, and we will continue to find and discover new methods. When I say we, you primarily, because I'm already aware of it, I'm making you discover, and then you will start to learn it, master it. Alright team, so test done. Now let us do something. Let us do a quick dry run. When I say dry run is, I wrote a code. I'm afraid that it may fail somewhere. Also team, note, I have not yet done the verify. Okay, so this is pending. And so is this step, pending. We will come back and finish it. We wrote a piece of code. Let us see how it works. Before we execute it, I want to close the existing IE browser. Why should I do that? Because it may interfere with your test team. So save your test and then run your test. So we didn't do a record. But what we are doing is we have written our own custom VB script, custom code in the custom test, and we are doing a run. How does the browser open and it goes to 401k calculator? Because we put that in record and run settings. What happened, team? Something happened? Stop is there, pause is there. I don't see anything else. It is showing me that as if the test is still running here, but some kind of a pop-up came up. Let's go to the browser and see. It has not entered 65,000 yet, so it is probably here. But it did open the browser, it did go to 401k calculator. Now what went wrong? And here comes something called as a run error, which you and we will master as we go along. I'm going to copy this message, take a Word document, in a second, paste it here, and we will look at this error now. This error basically is saying something, team. Run error is very simple. When we do a specific activity or when we run a test and the test fails for certain reason, it is a run error. It is your skill and ability that you should use to fix that error and move on. So it describes to you very clearly what the error is. You have to look at that and understand. So I've copied the text from this and I've put it here so that it is easy for you to see and analyze. So for you to be in the top 10% of the real automation engineers, you need to master this simple concept in the right manner, team. You have to know two things, team. One, where did that error occur? Which line did it happen? Where did it occur? On the code and in the application also you can think about. And then second thing is, what is it trying to say about that specific line? Alright. Then it talks about a tip and all that. Tips, don't worry. It is okay, but you will master and you'll have your own tips from your side when you go about. It's a very simple thing, team. If you look at it, it says browser ie.page.webedit annual solid set. So it looks to be okay for us here. What does it say here? The annual salary webedit object was not found in the object repository. Is it true? Is it not there here? It is there, right? In the application it is there. Then read again. The annual salary webedit object was not found in the object repository. Oh, it's saying object repository. So where is our object repository with our test? Is it here? Yes, it is. Then why is it not able to find? Check the object repository to confirm that the object exists or to find the correct name for the object. So if QTP cannot identify the correct object from the code to the object repository, it can't go to the website. The way QTP works is very simple, team. So simple and so easy for us to easily understand and master. First, it looks at where that object is in the object repository. So it will come here, it will identify this object is here. Second, it will take all of these details and it will identify that specific object in the application. That is it. Okay. When we do descriptive programming, we will go directly from the code into the application and we will bypass the object repository at that time. That is descriptive programming. Okay. Now, before we get there, let us talk about what simply happened. So if you closely observe, annual salary has been misspelled in the code. So now do you understand what is the solution to it? Yes. So stop and correct it out there. Alright, these are very important things, team. These are part of what we do as debugging itself. Okay, so make sure that you follow these simple steps, though which may look very simple and easy, are fundamentals. It will keep going for a lifetime. Now let us rerun this test. It's gonna get very interesting, team. Just stay on. So we will rerun this test. Every time I run a test, team, there are a couple of things that will happen. One is you'll see this pop-up coming up called results. the results will keep coming up, team. So we need to work and find a way to manage it better. So 65,000, let us see if it's going to enter 65,000. It is still running the test. Any errors or issues? Alright. All of a sudden it did a quick run. So far it waited for some time and then it did a quick run at the end. Why so quickly it did a run? Why did it do a run so quickly at the end? Basically, it has done everything. Hopefully 65,000 correct, 9% correct, 35, 55 correct. Did it click on calculate and we've got the values here. Excellent. So it has done it. But you, let us assume, have a very keen eye. You want to go one step after the other and see how it is happening. So there are two ways for you to do. You basically want your test to run slow. One feature which you can use are some simple statements. One of the first statements that I want you to get exposed to is called wait. What wait does is it's a VB script statement. You can ask it, the QTP or the test run, to wait at that point for specific amount of seconds. Do you see this? As soon as I wrote wait, it has got you a help showing what it will do. Okay, initiates a pause during a run session. Same thing, I will take the same wait statement and put it after every line. Why am I doing this? Remember this, the why portion is very important. The test doesn't require, it is good if a test runs fast. Why is it good if a test runs fast? Remember, I spoke about efficiency, reusability, accuracy. The concept about ERA is very simple, team, that I've been promoting for a very long time. Unless your application automation, whatever you're doing as part of your automation, is efficient, in the sense, if a manual person takes, let's say, 10 hours to do, you cannot do it in 10 hours or you cannot do it in 11 hours or more. You have to do it in under 10 hours. And it is reusable. Why reusable? Because to write this test may take you 1 hour, let's assume. And to do it manually, it may take you 10 minutes to test it. Why should you take 1 hour to write and then 1 minute to run? Because you will keep on using it. You will use it now, you'll use it tomorrow, you'll use it like 10 times. So over a period of 10 runs, it has become more efficient. It is, so unless you're reusing it, it will not sustain its power. So it is not for one time. Reusability should be constant and it should be accurate. What is the point of writing a test that runs beautifully, very fast, we will keep on reusing, however, keeps failing here and there? You're not confident that it will run correctly. Then there is no point in it. So your fundamental ERA, efficiency, reusability, and accuracy must be met for it. So why was I talking about that? What really got me there? So wait statement is getting that efficiency down. The test which is running in under 1 minute is now going to take a little longer. Why am I doing it? Just to show you how the test is running in a slower manner. So you have to train your eyes. The other thing that keeps happening, team, is that at the end of every test, okay, there is a results that is coming up. Results pops up and says that, hey, a result is generated. So we will do automation testing at the end of it. AT, automation testing. Our focus will be 90% on automation and very little on testing. Why? Because testing will become very easy then. Once we master automation, scripting, descriptive programming and all that, testing is going to be very, very easy. So we will come to the results section later. So we don't need results right now. So two things you need to do when you're practicing, team. Since we're still mastering the automation, one is set it to temporary run results folder. Okay, so that it doesn't keep on adding into the same folder every time. Second is, if you go under run, if you go under options, there is options, tools, under tools, and if you go under options and you look at run sessions, you'll see this option where it says view results when run session ends. Do you see this, team? This you can uncheck. Once you uncheck this, it will not keep opening up that pop-up which you don't need right now. Alright, so make sure you do that and do another run. So see, eventually what we're doing is we're slowly developing one after the other in our test. The reason we put a wait statement is just so that it goes a little bit more slow and you're able to see exactly what happens. So first it's supposed to enter annual salary of 65,000, then your contribution to 401k, current age, retirement age, and click on calculate. Let us see if it does it. So 65,000 done, wait for 2 seconds, 9% put, wait for 2 seconds, current age to 35, wait for 2 seconds, retirement age 55, wait for 2 seconds, click on calculate. Alright, now the test must have been completed. Let's go, it's blinking out here. So the option of clicking on calculate does not really make too much of a significant change, because as the user enters value, let's say 57 here, automatically the calculation is happening. Okay, so the user does not really have to go and click on calculate, because these days the applications are very interactive. They get you results dynamically. You don't really need to initiate a calculate or some kind of a process. So far so good, team. We have understood. Now what have we done? We have done one trial run. So if I go to my drive.google.com and we open up the folder that we were using. So all of you are here, team. All the members are part of this folder right now. I'm sure most of you are, or all of you are. More actions. Grid view. Where do I see people? Anyways, we'll come to it. So team, so far so good. All right, cool. So just want to make sure, because very critical. A lot of times what happens is people either are getting lost, or audio is gone or visual is gone, and I will not really know. So that's why I keep checking. So did you have planned? This is the one. Yes. So we have done this, and we are writing the basic script. We have done about 50% of it. So let's do something more on it now. So this, I will put it to yellow. See, such a good thing that we did is to create a simple plan, because we are not running all over the place. We know exactly what we want. Now let's talk about defining the variables to hold test data. Why do I need this? And why will we put this? So UFT test 1 is there. So saved it. I'm going to save a different version to the saved thing. So I'm going to say save as, and I'm going to call this as UFT test 2. Why am I creating a different version? 1, it will help you to pick specific ones at later point when you practice saying, look at the scripts and go. Okay, one stage after the other. Second is, it is easy for you when you're doing a project also to create different versions. So sometimes what happens is suddenly you'll see that the project is, this one version is all wrong. It's easy for you to step back and see what you did previously and start from there again. Okay. Now, two things we'll do here. First is, this is clear for us. So we know the process, we know the steps. So I'm going to take this off. Now let us keep a neat code. So earlier we did done using the record and run settings. Now let us do it at a script level. So what we will do is we'll say system.util dot run. System.util is your simple way of referring to your computer PC, your specific system, and you have the ability to identify a utility program in it to run. Okay. In this case, all I'm going to do is two important information: iexplore.exe, comma, this specific URL. Let me explain to you what it is. How do you know that there is a feature like system.util.run? And then how would you learn it? Very simple. I've introduced to you now, and now you learn it. So there's nothing more complex than what I've just mentioned to you. We will keep on introducing new things. You'll keep on learning. That is how it's going to run. What I'm saying right now is that let's do a run using Internet Explorer.exe, and this is the URL. So system.util.run will do exactly the same thing like our record and run settings does, where it opens the following address when a record and run session begins. So we are trying to give everything at a script level. Why am I giving it at a script level? Two reasons, team. One is you don't want anything to be outside. You want to be able to see everything out here. Second, tomorrow when we do a data-driven framework, when we keep completing it, we'll see this 401k calculator.org, right, is actually being picked up from where? It'll get picked up from the test data here. Okay, so right now it is 401k calculator.org, but what if it's qa.401kcalculator.org instead of www, or a different URL altogether that we need to test where the similar things are there? That is the reason it will become very important for you to have it here. Now, let us talk about the second feature. So this we have not yet seen, so when we do a run, you'll know it. Okay, let us talk about a second feature called variables. So far, we have used 65,000, 9%, 35, 55. Let us say if I want to change this to 45, what do? I go here and change. Or if I want to change this to 25, or if I want to change this to 11. And now let's do a run, quick run on the application. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to do a run. Ideally, Internet Explorer should be closed because you don't want it to be interacting with an open browser already, a browser that is already there. Okay, so it's done 65,000, 11%. Has it finished the test? We'll know it. Now it is done. See, the color combination that it shows will show you what happened. So 65,000, 11%, 25, 45, and clicks on calculate. Perfect. So it has done exactly what we wanted. Each time it is okay to go about changing it here, team. But it is not the ideal process, not the right process. What is the right process? You talk about variables. Very simple, team. First, annual salary. I'll call this as ASAL. And the value for that is 65,000. And instead of putting that value here, I will change it. Why is it like that? Let us assume, in this case you will not understand, but let us assume that the same thing without this, let's do Control C, the same step, okay, is repeating here, and your test case, not in this case, demands that we again do it at the end here, okay, and we again do it here, and we again do it here. Let us assume it's being done in 4 different places. So if one of my tests demands that I change it to 57,000, what do I need to do? I change it here, I change it here, and I change it here. I may have to do it in multiple places. So there are 2 problems with it. One, it will take a lot of time for you to maintain your test or make changes to it. Alright, you have to see where it is and so on. What is the second problem? You may miss one of them and you may make a manual error, a human error, which is why you and I are here for testing, and that will create a challenge. Now if I have it here, all I can do is I can say 57,000, and instead of here I will just call the variable. What are variables? How are we going to do it? I'll quickly give you an overview and then we'll master that more in the next session, team. The reason I'm going slow is I know most of you have wanting to start at the basics, so I did that, and I also want you to watch a few more videos before you come back to the day 4 because there is a lot to learn and I want to go a little bit more fast, team. What we have done is basically very simple. Alright, let me use C drive UFT notes class notes 1.text. okay, so this is done there. So control new. So just a white background is what I wanted to quickly explain about variables. Variables is very simple, team. It is like a holder. It is a holder where you have a name to it and you have a value to it. Okay, so whenever you call it by a name, that value comes up and you can keep on changing the value. The idea that the value can keep changing is the reason it is called as variable, okay, or a parameter. We will know more about this when we keep going, but the simplest way of referring to it is like a phone card. Let's say your contact list. In a contact list, let's say you have a name, like let's say you have a name called Ash. Okay, Ash, and let's say the last name is Eddie, whatever. Okay, we'll say that E. So for Ash, all you do is you keep the name, and whenever you dial Ash, it will automatically dial the specific number you have stored. So the stored number is the variable, and Ash E is the name for the variable. So there is a value and there is a name. In this case, what we did is we said erase drawings. It's all drawings. Okay. In this case, we said there is a variable called ASAL and there is a value called 57,000. So we have declared a variable on line 2 and we have put a value to it. What is it that we're trying to do? We're trying to do the step that we were doing here. Where is the plan? Define variables to hold test. So this is what we're doing right now. So we have defined one variable, and that way we'll continue to define all the variable. I'll just say 401k equals 9%, and we will continue to define all the variables. CH equals 35, 25, whatever, doesn't matter. R age equals, let's say 55. And now we will use the variables in a specific section. So next session we will focus a little bit more on variables. We will go very deep into it, and then we will implement all this into the continuation of the project. So if you see, team, we have made some progress, not significant progress, but as part of our overall plan, we have done about half of it. So another 3 sessions we should be able to complete everything. What I would request each of you to do is help me by going to itelearn.com and watching a few videos before you come back to the next session. I have given 2 days gap specifically for one reason, team. There are lots of members who are still in the process of signing up. They have joined late or they have learned late about the program, so they have a little bit more time to catch up, and you have some videos to watch before you get to the next session. So here, if I go further down, why is it not scrolling? I think this is also a touch screen, so anyways, come on. What's wrong? IE? Oops. Control C. Any other browser? Firefox here. No. Chrome. No, there's no other browser on this machine also. So I don't know why it is not scrolling down. I'm using buttons. It is not. It's going here. Why is it not going only on my page? Okay, I use this bar, now it's going here. So 11.5 training videos. Do you see this, team? You have 3 days now from now to the next session, and I want you to watch a few videos, please. Okay, these are simple videos. You don't have to really stress too much about it. I have already spoken about all of these things so far: VB scripting fundamentals, object identification, and spy. Spy we didn't get there. VB script debugging and so on. VB scripting actions and checkpoints, data tables, and read and write from Excel. So this is not important. Actually, you know what? I may cover most of it. If you get time, continue to go through the first 6 chapters. You have already gone through a lot of these, so you don't have to worry. Just get to the point where you're looking at VB scripting. Talks about variables, if statement, for loops, and a little bit of all of this will really help him. At least chapter 5. Okay. If nothing, at least chapter 5 under the QTP video library for UFT 11.5. Can you all do that, please? Alright, so yeah, I did down arrow, I did the check scroll lock. It's I don't know, it's a system and also sometimes my website, I guess. Why use comma instead of period? Where did I use comma? Mukhya Kurang. For HTTP. Oh, okay, good question. So why did I use comma here instead of a period? Because all this has something called as functions, team. Run, set, and so on. Some of these functions takes one variable that you can pass, so it will do based on what you've said. Some take 2 variables. if a function takes multiple variables, then you separate those with a comma. And we will learn this when we get to functions. So team, like I was saying, if you have time, please watch chapter 5 at least, baby scripting. It's about 2 hours videos. That's it. Relax, sit back, play it like a movie, keep watching. Just take notes on the side. Okay. Don't do multitasking. Don't watch your TV or don't attend to homely things and then continue to watch the videos. It won't serve the purpose. Sit down, watch the movies, 1 hour each. Okay. It'll help us to go a little bit more faster when we get there. So when I get into next session, I hope to complete this portion, at least some of it, in about 1 session. Then we will get into the portion where we'll talk about data tables and read and write from Excel. I will explain the data tables and we will do the next project through read and write from Excel. And finally we'll complete it. So about 3 sessions or so we will complete this first project. So hopefully by end of this week or early next week we will complete this project. Then we will do a second project on data-driven framework. Like we've talked about in the plan. That will take about 2 days, nothing big. And finally, we'll get into a more detailed keyword-driven framework team. Okay. All right. So questions, any questions quickly that I could answer? Team, here's the thing about installation, about setting it up is very basic. Put it in the tech support, get help from there. If you're not getting answer, it does not mean that one of my tech support engineers will come and do a spoon feeding for you. No. You are not asking the right question. You should learn to ask the right question, be it in a search field for Google or searching in our forum or when you're posting a new message there. If you don't ask the right question, you will not get the right answer. Okay. And it is a very, very important ability that all of us have to develop. You have to learn to put your question in a meaningful manner, even for Google to understand. Okay. So please do not assume that people understand what you're saying. Keep it in a very clear manner. You will get your answers. Secondly, all of these things that I'm teaching as part of this training is not just about QTP. It is also how you got to work and perform in any IT project. So please make sure that you take all of these points very seriously. I will keep driving you towards being a successful IT professional, not just QTP. Overall, your communication is very important, especially your written. And also when you get to live project, I'm going to talk about your verbal communication. You will keep presenting, we will keep observing, and we're going to make sure that you get better at how you speak, how you talk. All right, great. Thanks, team. So what else? Reading data from Oracle database will be covered. Got idea about Excel through videos. So Upendra, I believe that is already there in the video. If there is anything that I'm not covering, it should already be there. So if you go either to this chapter or you go to the other chapter, I'll show you the main big library where there are over 70 plus 55 videos here. You will see database testing using HP Quick Test Professional, and there you should be able to find your solution. QTP, database testing, .NET Factory, Microsoft Word. So these 3 videos should help you with it. All right. All right, team. So sorry about the late start. Hopefully we will start at 7:05. Though the scheduled time is 7, the only reason I start at 7:05 is people come from work, a lot of people working or make sure that they're joined online and so on. Anything to do with Google Drive or documents and so on, please send an email to manoj@itlearn.com and Manoj will reply back. All right. Or send it to learn@itlearn. They will take care. What is the difference between get out of property, get to your property? We'll be getting to it in the next session, Gopal. So I don't intend to just teach something. I want to do it as part of our project. So what we're doing is a project implementation. I'm assuming that you all joined a new project along with me. I'm doing the project. I'm showing it to you and you learn through it. So we will learn through projects and then it'll become very easy. Because see, when you learn things through projects, when you talk about it, it'll be easy. You're not giving a theoretical definition which interviewers hate. You will talk about in this project, this is how we used. This is what it is. This is why we should use get out of property or get to your property. It'll become good, easy reference for you. Okay. All right, team. Great. Fantastic. We'll see you back in the next session. It will be in about 2 days from now. You have the schedule that comes. Sorry about that. You'll have the schedule through GoToTraining. Whenever I make a change in GoToWebinar, you'll automatically get that. All right. And any questions that I have not answered right now, we will go through it because I see most of the questions. It is relevant to the next session, so I will cover it there. All right. Can we have a time bit early for EST people if possible? Mugda, I will let you know. I will consider because I've got a few more requests in the same category. If I can, I will definitely let you know. I know it's about 11:15 there in East Coast, so it's not fair for all of you. And there are over 100 participants in this batch, so I can understand. All right, team, we will do something about it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for participating. Appreciate it. We'll see you back. Thank you all. Take care. Bye now. We'll see you back in the next session. That will be on Thursday then. Bye, everyone. Take care. Thank you.